my gosh, what is happening right now? Before we get started, hit the like and subscribe, and maybe hit the little bell, the notification bell, so you can get notified for our next upload. Hi, I'm Chanel. Welcome back to Happy Little Knits. Welcome back to the Creative Podcast. This is episode 11. We are in double digits, so that's pretty exciting. Yeah, let's get into it. This is Chihiro, my two-faced baby. I have like a few things to show you, so this isn't gonna be very long. I think it's been a week since I last uploaded, but I think it's been like a week and a half, 2 weeks since I last filmed. So not a lot of time, but I'm trying to get into the habit of uploading every week. So I might have to just have shorter podcasts. I don't know. So I don't have any FOs, right? Yeah, I don't have any FOs, but I do have 2 whips and a book to talk about. And then I think that's about it. We'll do knitting first, and then our book talk, and then we'll just ramble on from there. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to talk about last week's acquisitions. If you saw the last podcast, I'm sure you remember the yarn that I got last time. If you have not seen the last podcast, I'll link it up here somewhere so you can click on it and go watch that after you finish watching this, of course. But yeah, so I talked about this yarn that I got. I had got some sock yarn from Hobby Lobby, and this is the hank. And this is it caked up. It looks kind of messy because I've started using it, but yeah, so my plan that I was going to do with this was I wasn't sure if I was going to knit gloves or a sweater for my daughter, and I think the third option was socks, but I was leaning more towards a sweater for my daughter and a pair of gloves for myself, mittens specifically. So what I've done with this, I have started using this to knit my daughter her Christmas sweater. So I guess that'll transition us into our first whip. So this is the sweater I'm working on. It's so cute. Okay, so I have a lot of words about this sweater. This is the Flax Light Sweater by Tin Can Knits. They have a huge amount of sizes. They have from like newborn to like adult sizes. I wasn't really paying attention to adult sizes, so I don't know what their size range is for that. I wanted to knit this specifically for my daughter, so I was looking for a pattern that was for babies. So I'm only paying attention to like their babies and children sizes. I was really looking for just a basic raglan because, like I mentioned in my last video, I didn't want to do something with too much texture because I feel like texture on yarn that has this much, like this high of a contrast, would be too hard to look at, especially with it being like a white and then a really, really dark color, and it's striping a little bit. So I really didn't want to, I have like a fuzz on my nose, sorry. I didn't want to like add too much texture. So I was also looking for a free pattern, and that's how I came across the Flax Light, the Flax Light simple, I think it's called Simple Sweater or Simple Slipover, I think is what it's called. And I found it on Ravelry for free. I'll link the pattern and then I'll also link my own Ravelry. I don't use Ravelry that often, so you're not going to find much of anything of mine on there. But yeah, so I started knitting this up and I absolutely loved working on it. It was so much fun. I did magic loop or magic circle, whatever you want to call it, and it was my first time. Actually, no, I think it was like my second time using magic loop, but my first time using magic loop for such a small knit, and it actually was not that bad. Like, there's no gapping anywhere, so that's pretty good. Now this is a top-down raglan, and you have two options. You can start with the collar, or you can just do like a basic raw edge and then come back and add a collar in, but I just chose to do the collar first because I didn't want to go back and deal with that. And then on the top of the arms and the shoulders, so it starts at the end of the ribbing and goes all the way to like the cuff, you do garter stitch, and then everything else is just stockinette. And I don't know, I was just following the pattern, so I wasn't really paying attention to the fact that there was garter stitch, but I think next time if I were to use this pattern, I probably wouldn't do garter stitch. I think it really just depends on the yarn, because with this yarn I would prefer to have just a regular knitting, but maybe on like a yarn that was more of a flat color, like a solid color, then maybe I would do the garter stitch. It'd probably look a lot better. In the pattern they use, like the picture that they posted was just a plain gray, so it did stand out quite a bit. But with this yarn, it's obviously, you can't really see it. I mean, well, maybe you can, but it's just a lot to look at, you know. So I'm glad it's just on the top, but it gives this nice like little, I don't know, like edge right there. I think it looks really good. Now with this yarn, I'm pretty sure this is self-striping, so if you were to do like something smaller like socks, it'd probably stripe a lot better. But since, okay, so you can see it's pretty obvious. So with this being a wider circle, you have more pooling, versus this being a smaller circle, it's like tighter, kind of like stripes. Like it wants to be stripes, but it's not exactly stripes. I don't know, I think it looks really, really cool. I'm not mad at the color pooling. I'm not mad at like the way that it is kind of two-toned like that. I think it looks really cool. Knitting this took, I want to say I started it Friday night and then Saturday, Sunday. I think it only took like 4 days to knit this so far. And then after that I put it down because I was working on the next project. But yeah, so I'm worried about the size though. I'm knitting the 1 to 2 year size, but this does not look 1 to 2 year size. Okay, this looks really small. So I'm kind of betting on the stretch. When I block it, I mean, that's really flippin' stretchy. So I'm hoping that when I block it out, it'll stretch quite a bit, and then it will just be a little bit more of a snug fit on her, I guess. But yeah, I am a little worried about the size of it. Now the pattern did call for fingering or sock weight yarn, and then you knit this on 2.75 for the ribbing, but then the body is knit on 3.75 needles. So I just used my 3.75 circular, I think it's a 60-inch circular needle from Knitter's Pride, and it's the Mindful collection, or mindfulness, something like that. But yeah, that's how I'm knitting this. And I plan on having this be like her Christmas sweater with like some dark blue jeans, and then some kind of, I have shoes that I got for her like a month or two ago, and they're like a light pastel blue with like really light pinks and purples, and it just flows together, and it really would be like, I think it'd be pretty cute with this because it's blue, purple, and pink and white that's in here, and it's the shoes are the exact same. They're just super light. So I think that would be cute with like some dark blue jeans for her to wear on Christmas. This is also going to be one of her birthday presents. Her birthday is next month. It's literally a month and like 5 days away. So this is going to be one of her birthday presents from us. And yeah, I am having a lot of fun knitting this up. I just need to add the sleeves and then it'll be done, but I hate knitting sleeves, and I'm really dreading like such a small circle, like, oh, because I'm gonna have to work it on DPNs. I was thinking about using my 9-inch circular needles, but the only size that I have for those is I think 2.5 or 2.25. I think it's 2.5. So obviously that wouldn't work for this gauge. But yeah, so this is my daughter's second hand knit sweater from mom. This is how much yarn I have left. I didn't weigh it, but the label said it was 100 grams, and I didn't weigh it because my scale that I have is kind of off, I think. So I don't know, even if I weighed it, it would probably not be right anyway. So I just am trusting that this is close to, or if not is, 100 grams. And then I'll probably I'm gonna use this for the sleeves, and then I'm gonna have quite a bit left over. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with the extra. I have no idea what I'm gonna do, because with this, oh, by the way, this is Yarn Bees Authentic Hand Dyed. It's Hobby Lobby's like brand. I think it's their brand, or like I don't know. It's from Hobby Lobby, and this is in the color Stonework, and it is 400 yards, 3.5 ounces, and 100 grams, and 365 meters. It is 100% superwash merino wool. I was gonna use this for mittens for myself, and then I think if I have anything left over from both of these, I'll just see how much I have, and then if I have enough, I'll probably knit socks. If not, I'll use the leftover for like a hat for Sophie or something, and yeah, we'll go from there. So that is yarn number 1, and also whip number 1. The next yarn that I have is this. I talked about it in my last podcast as well, and it's the colorway like Zahara, I think. Yeah, Zahara. And I'm absolutely obsessed with this yarn. It is so gorgeous. I said I was gonna knit socks with it, but I haven't yet. These are the 2 cakes. Now it looks like this because my kitty boy got a hold of these, and I'm thankful because he didn't break any of the yarn. Usually when he gets a hold of my yarn, he just obliterates it, but I think he got caught in like soon enough that he didn't have time to do much damage. So I have to re-cake these up. This was one hank that I just separated, and they are in 50-gram balls. It's the exact same thing as the other. It's Yarn Bee 100% merino, superwash merino wool, same yardage, weight, everything. It's just a different colorway. And yeah, so I am planning on, I don't know, I keep going back and forth with this yarn. I think I do want to do socks, but at the same time, I'm like, it feels like it's too good to be socks. You know what I mean? Like, it's sock yarn, but I'm like, do I want this on my feet, and do I want to be walking around with this yarn, wearing it out? Because it's just too good, you know? And I want to show it off at the same time. So, like, I don't know, should it be a hat? Should it be mittens? Should I make another sweater for Sophie? I don't know. But I will say I am using one of these for something, just a little bit. There's not much of it going into this next whip. If you have any ideas on what I should do with this yarn, please tell me, because all I can think of, I just don't want it to be socks. I feel like it is too good to be socks. So please give me ideas, patterns, whatever. I will take it all. Okay. Yeah, so not much to be said about this, but we're gonna move on to acquisitions, because I did get new yarn like right after I filmed and uploaded that last video. Okay, first on the list, I am so obsessed with it. Oh my gosh, look at the color. Oh, okay. I'm just like so obsessed with this. So, oh no, look, it's like, oh, well, it doesn't match, but like up close like this. Well, no, never mind. Anyway, if you remember, like 2 podcasts ago, I was talking about how I'm like going through a purple phase. I'm absolutely obsessed with the color purple right now, and I know I talked about having like wanting dark purple, but right now, like, this just screamed my name when I went back to the store. So I had gone back to Hobby Lobby to try and find more of both of those other skeins because I wanted to get more of that like brown color, because I was like, if they have more, maybe I can get a sweater's quantity worth and I can make myself a sweater. Unfortunately, they did not have more. And then I wanted to get another skein of that white and purple because I thought maybe I can make myself mittens and socks, but then when I got there I was like, I'm not really that drawn to that color anymore, so I didn't get more of it. But when I was there, I saw this and I'm just like, this is all that they had, was just these 3 skeins, and I bought all of them because I needed to have it, because for some reason my Hobby Lobby location is like clearing out their hand-dyed yarn, and I don't think they're bringing it back. So I was worried that I wasn't gonna have a second chance to buy this, so I bought it all. This is the exact same weight, brand, yardage, everything. This colorway is just called Lavendaria. It's kind of faded, but yeah, so I have a lot of plans for this stuff. This one's kind of coming undone because it's been sitting in my project bag and I haven't touched any of it yet. But I think I'm going to for sure knit Sophie a sweater with this, and I also am going to knit a pair of socks with this, but I'm actually going to move on to the next acquisition so I can show you what I'm planning on doing. So this is the next one. Doesn't it just like remind you of like ice cream or like cotton candy? Just so sweet, it like hurts your mouth, you know what I mean? And this is it caked up. So I'm already using this for another project, but I need to just tuck one thing at a time before I get all over the place. But I'm just obsessed. It's coming out a lot lighter on camera. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's extremely light, but in person it has like cream, like so creamy, it's like custard almost, and then this like gorgeous like ballerina pink, like I just keep seeing ice cream, and then it has like these blue speckles, like dark blue, light blue, and it reminds me of sprinkles. It's just so delicious. And they only had 2 of these, so I snatched up both of those. And oh yeah, look, here's more of the blue. It's just so scrumptious. I'm not one to usually, I'm not drawn to pink, I'm not drawn to bright colors like this, but I just, you know, I have a daughter and lately I have really been into pink, specifically lighter colors like this, because I don't know if it's because she's like transitioning into like the toddler era, and I just keep picturing her like walking and talking and like dressing up like a little princess and, you know, having all things pink and purple, and I just am so obsessed with that idea. So I've been really drawn to pink and purple like this. So my plan is, if you just look at these 2 colors together, okay, they're just so gorgeous. So I think since I have so much of this purple, I'm going to knit a pair of socks and like do the cuff, the heel, and the toe with this pink, and I think that would just be so good, just so good. So that is the first like acquisition, I guess, or the first thing that I plan on doing with this purple yarn. The second thing I plan on doing, because I have so much of it, so I'm thinking about, I'm going to knit, I think I'm going to knit Sophie a sweater with this. I don't know if I myself would ever wear something unless it's matching Sophie, so since I have so much of this yarn, I might have a lot of it left over. So I'm going to have my socks and then her sweater, and if I have enough of the pink left over, I could do like a striped sweater for her to match my socks, and then if I still have leftover purple for sure, and hopefully enough pink left over, I could do both of us some knitting, some matching mittens with it maybe. I just want to, I'm transitioning to this next phase where I just want to match her. I want everything pink and purple, soft, sweet, and pretty, you know? So that is my plan for the purple. Now I do have one more plan with this purple, and it goes into my next whip. So I'll get that now. So like I said, I had this caked up and I've used quite a bit of it. Now, if you remember if you stuck around to the book talk section of my last podcast, I talked about, I got some knitting books, and I talked about one specifically that I got that had a bunch of patterns for like little stuffed animals and all of their outfits to go with it. And I said I wanted to knit something for Sophie's birthday. Let me just show you. I am knitting her one for her birthday, and I'm so excited about it. It's so cute. When I saw that pink yarn, because when I got this book, I was like, I don't know which one I want to make. There's so many different options. But then when I saw that pink yarn, I was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. So I'm knitting Maisie the pig. Like, if you just look at that pink, the light pink, it just is perfect. It matches this perfectly. I mean, obviously it's not the exact same, but it's a really light pink. See, this is coming out more cream, but it really is mostly light pink. But I just thought, Maisie the pig, how perfect would that be, you know? And so what I plan on doing, I'm using, let me set this down before I get too confused. Do you ever wish you had more hands to hold things and do things? So for the snout and the inside of the ears, they used like a darker pink, but I don't have darker pink. I mean, I do. I have this pink that was like the very first sock yarn I ever bought. That would have been perfect, but I don't think I had enough. I just had a ball that was like this big, so I don't think it was enough. But I'm using this brown as the contrast color. And yeah, so that's what I'm using that for. And then for her outfit, I don't think I'm gonna do the cardigan. I don't know. I'm for sure gonna knit the dress. And I'm gonna do it in this purple color. You see? Can you picture it being purple? And then I don't know if I'm gonna do the cardigan. I am really leaning towards doing the matching shoes, but yeah, I'm leaning towards doing the matching shoes, but I'm not gonna do, because they did pink and gray. I think I'm just gonna do it one solid purple. And then I want to do the cardigan, but I feel like that's just too much purple on purple. And I don't have any other yarn that would look good with that. So I don't have any buttons and I don't want to get buttons. So I think what I'm gonna do is just use some black yarn for the eyes and like the 2 holes for the nose. But yeah, so this pattern is worked, the whole pattern is worked on 2.75 millimeters. Is that what this is? Yes, 2.75 straight, 2.75 millimeters straight needles. So that's what I'm using here. It's also like a pinkish purple, so I thought that was perfect. My friend actually gifted me these needles. She works at a assisted living facility, so they had a lot of spare needles from one of her residents who didn't want them anymore. So I got all kinds of different sized straight needles. I am working that up. Right now I am knitting an arm. That's how much I got so far. This pattern is so easy to do. I was really intimidated about knitting a stuffed animal, like a stuffy, just because I've never done it before and it just looks hard. But when I got that yarn, I was feeling so inspired that I was like, I have to do this. And it's actually surprisingly easy. You do it like the body, the head, the arms, the legs, a tail if you have a tail or not, and you just do it one at a time. And the pattern is super thorough and really easy to follow. So I started out with making, this is what I have so far. This is all the little parts. So this is gonna be the head. This is what it looks like knit up. I don't know if this is gonna work. If it's gonna focus, there we go. Maybe, maybe not. You can see I did some decreasing up here and some increasing here. So the way it shapes is it's like a little ball, and then it has this little, I don't know if this is gonna work or not. It has this section that kind of like bows outward, and then I have the stitch markers placed where it told me to place them, and that's where the snout was gonna go. I called it a snoot earlier, but that's how we say it in our house, but it's a snout. And then here I have the snout. I knit that up second. There are so many loose strands here. So it looks kind of like a nipple. But yeah, so you can see you start up here and then you work some increasing and decreasing to get like this kind of like shape. And then you do a purl row, and then you do the contrasting color and you do some more decreasing. And it tells you to leave this tail, and you can like cinch it in so you get like this round area, and you can see like this is how it's gonna sit. And then I'm gonna sew it up onto where I have the markers placed. And then I did the body. Oh, no, yeah, I did the body next. This is the body. I think it's so cute. This is the bottom. I really liked how the bottom was knit, because if you look at it, it makes like this fan. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see like the different textures. I thought that was really cool. And then it tells you to do these two little spots here of a purl section, and that's where you're going to sew the legs onto. So I really like this pattern. It gives you like the markers of where to put everything. And then you work the body for a while, and then you can see we have some decreasing to get like that pointed top section. And then we use another loose strand and we cinch it in at the top just like we did for the snout. And the head is that way too. So you can see like this is the bottom. It naturally closes to a circle. That's how the top is as well. And so is the bottom of the body. And then you're just gonna knit these two together. Everything is mattress stitch. I've never done, actually no, have I done mattress? No, I have done mattress stitch before, but it was my early days, so it wasn't good. But yeah, so it teaches you how to do that. And then I did the tail. You can see it like naturally wants to curl. This was worked in a very interesting way. If you see these little bumps here, you do like some really interesting, it's almost like, it felt like German short rows, and it would say like knit this many stitches, turn. And usually when a pattern says turn, it means, at least what I have found, it means like a German short row. But it didn't explain that anywhere. And in the beginning of the book, it has like abbreviations and like verbiage, and they didn't have the phrase turn in there anywhere. So I was assuming that they didn't mean German short rows. And then I did one section with German short rows, like the turning method, and it seemed right, but I didn't want to do it. So I just would literally just turn my work, and I don't know, it's curling how it's supposed to, and I'm assuming that once it's stuffed out or stuffed and sewed up and everything, it won't have these bumps anymore, because I looked closely at the pattern and I could see that they did have some bumping, but it was really minimal. So I just did regular like knit, turn my work, not turn like German short row. And then after I did that, I finished the first leg. It's so cute. So you start at the bottom, and then you do like some weird shaping here to get this to kind of like poke out a little bit, and then you cast off a number of stitches, and then you don't do any cast on, you just knit these two stitches together so it closes it, and then you just work the leg for like a really long time, and that's how you get this shape. And then you go back and you sew this up, sew along the back and the bottom and the top, and then you assemble it, and you got yourself a little pig. Now right now I'm working an arm, and then I'll go back and knit the leg, and then I'll knit the other arm. But knitting the leg got really boring after a while, because you follow the pattern for the foot, and then once you get to the leg, you just work stockinette for a really long time. And okay, so I go back and forth. On some things, I really love to just sit and do stockinette or just garter stitch and then just knit without thinking. But then other times, like this pattern specifically, there's so much that goes into it to get the shaping and the texture and like, well, not the texture, but the exact shaping to get it perfect to like, when you stuff it, it works the right way. So you have to like follow the pattern every single row, and I really liked that because it was like very engaging but easy still, so it was like really fun to do. So once I got to the leg and it was that small and then like that long of just stockinette, it was like, after a while I was like, can we just hurry up and get this done because I want to move on to the next thing. So I'm working the arm now, but the arm is like really similar. You start by making the hand and then you work stockinette for a while. So I don't know, we get bored easily. But yeah, so once I finish the arm, I'll do the next leg and the next arm. So after I finish the leg and the arm, I'm probably gonna like seam and stuff the body, and then I'll do the ears, and I'll probably seam the nose onto the head, and then I can, you know, work the ears so that I don't finish it, and then I'll do the dress. And that is going to be another birthday present from us to her. And I plan on like knitting her a stuffed animal for either her birthday or for Christmas every year from this book or other patterns, whatever. But I thought that'd be really fun, you know, that she has these little stuffed animal friends to look back on like throughout the years, you know, and to see, because there's so many memories tied with this, you know, like right now she's not gonna remember it, but I'm gonna have the memories of working on this and be able to look back and be like, oh, I remember how stressed I was thinking about planning your first birthday party, and knitting this was giving me that comfort and stress relief, and I was just so excited to give this to you on your birthday, you know. And then like as she gets older, she can be like, oh, I remember, you know, watching you work on this, or I remember you teaching me how to do this and teaching me how to knit while you were working this up for me, you know what I mean? Like, and then when she's old enough, she can like pick out which one she wants and what outfit she wants with it, or we can design one together. Oh, it's just gonna be so cute. And then when she's older and she has her own babies, she can give them to her babies. Oh, and it's just gonna be so sweet. Now I'm getting emotional. So I would love to make that like a tradition. Every year she gets a new one, and eventually she'll have her own little family of handmade stuffies from mom. But yeah, so I think that's all I got as far as knitting and yarn and everything. Now I have one book to talk about today, so let's go on to the book talk. I got a book. It was an impulse buy, and I have a lot of thoughts about it. So this is the book, Coraline. I know it's nothing new. I'm not like showing you a new book. We've all heard about it. We've all seen the movie, you know, so you're probably like, okay, and but okay, I have some things, some feelings, some thoughts, some emotions towards this. So Coraline is like one of my absolute favorite fall and winter movies to watch, and it is very nostalgic because it came out when I was a kid, I think. Yeah, it came out when I was a kid, and I remember watching it like in 3D with the 3D glasses and stuff, and like, well, you know, and growing up watching it. So now every fall I watch the movie, and then I found out there was a book to it a while ago, and everything I've heard about the book has been not good. I've heard that it's like really scary, it's messed people up, and a lot of people do not recommend reading it. So I have not bought the book for a really long time. But then I was watching Coraline the other day, and I impulsively was like, I'm gonna buy the book. And I did. And then I didn't read it for a while because I was too scared. I got to the 5th chapter. I'm like in the middle of the 5th chapter. And I mean, this book is really small, you know, like I'm already almost to the halfway mark. And it's not scary so far. I was really nervous to read it because the top review by Lemony Snicket says, this book tells a fascinating and disturbing story that frightened me nearly to death. Okay, so once I saw that, I was like, I'm not gonna read this for a while. That sounds scary. But I'm like almost halfway through the book and it's just like, there's been some things that were like, okay, that's kind of eerie, but not like, you know when you read a scary book and you can like, you get chills down your spine, you feel like somebody's sitting right there like whispering in your ear and you get really scared and you like have to close the book because you're afraid something's gonna kill you. It's not been like that, and that's what I was expecting with this book. It's been more like really slow and kind of boring, but at the same time it's jumping scenes so fast that like I can picture the movie in my head while I'm reading this, and I'm like, the movie beefed it up a lot to make it a movie because this book is so like on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, and at the same time it's just really, really boring. The dialogue is kind of, it's third person, so it's kind of almost boring in a way. And then describing the creepy things, I will admit it's creepy, it is creepy, but the creepy scenes are so like they move on so quick that it doesn't linger and it doesn't build up very much, so it's not really scary so far. But then again, I'm only on the 5th chapter, so I'm maybe thinking that it might get scarier. I'm hoping. If you've read this book, let me know what you think, because all I've heard is just that it's really scary, and so far I'm not getting that. So like, look at that, it's giving scary stories to tell in the dark. Okay, this is a really short podcast. That's all I have for you this week. If there's any like specific content or like specific videos you want me to do, like knit and chats, or like, I don't know, that's all I can think of is knit and chat or vlog. My life is really boring, but if you want me to do a vlog, I can do a vlog. But yeah, if there's anything specific you have in mind, or like a Q&A or something, let me know. Ask me your questions and we'll do that coming up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna try and get as much of this stuff done so that my next week's podcast I have a lot more to talk about, because right now that's all I got. But yeah, thanks so much for sticking around for this short video, and I highly recommend you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you're not, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.